So I want to talk with you about a very important topic because I had a conversation recently with someone in my family, one of the closest people in my life. And the reason why I was having this conversation with them is that all that they see is their lack. Like when they look in the mirror, there's this beautiful human looking back at them in the mirror that achieves incredible success, is the most wonderful parent, yet they don't see any of that. They see the one pimple, they see the one blemish, they see the one thing that they didn't accomplish in their career, and that one thing consumes reality. And I said to them, you have to find some mechanism to just realize that you're the freaking GOAT. Like, you're the greatest of all time at what you've done. Like, you have this incredible, humble swagger. Like, you need to see what everybody else sees versus what you decide to put all of your focus on. And as I was talking with this person, I said, I have to create some formula around this because I am perceived as extremely confident, and it's because I am. And I spend all of my time focusing on all of the things that I have done to serve the world, serve humanity, the successes I have achieved, both as a parent, as a significant other, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, and as a human. And I spend zero, and I want to make sure that you hear this, zero time focusing on any of the blemishes. What's the point? The little blemish, the little pimple, it's a little nothing, yet that consumes most people. And what I've realized is there's 5 strategies that will allow you to focus on your strength, and then one daily action that just makes you seemingly unstoppable. So let's talk about those strategies and then dig into that action so that you too can start having the level of conviction and confidence that I have, and instead of focusing on those little blemishes that mean absolutely nothing in the big picture. So the first strategy is this, is stop focusing and stop comparing your insides to somebody else's outsides. And in a world where social media is just so prevalent, stop taking someone else's Instagram image, which is a snapshot of their life, and then comparing it to how you feel about your life. That's so critical. Is that all of a sudden you'll see someone that takes this wonderful picture in front of the Lamborghini and the plane and the car and the watches and the beautiful partner that they're with, and they look like they absolutely have it all, and then you'll compare that snapshot to the fact that your home is chaotic, it's messy, your child is loud, you didn't get what you want done that day, you're really tired, you missed the gym. Don't compare the snapshot of somebody else's life to your actual life, because all that you know is that snapshot. And in a world where people actually pay money to get good Instagram images, I would default to saying that's not reality, even for that person. It's literally just a picture. So don't compare how you feel to the things that you see in the world. What you want to do instead is take what you have, your family, your successes, your career, your impact, your passions, and put all your focus there, and do not compare yourself to the snapshots that you're seeing on social media. It will not serve you. It will not allow you to focus on your strength, and that is the first strategy. The second strategy is to stop putting so much focus on societal values and instead focus on your own values. So society values certain things. So for example, and we'll use this because this is an extreme and this might ruffle some feathers, but during the whole COVID thing that went down, that just like shut down humanity for a couple of years, what society valued was compliance. It valued just listen and just do as you were told versus you having your own values. So like for my family and I, we did not align with the societal values. We aligned with our own values. So as a byproduct, what that allowed us to do was focus on what mattered to us. We sold everything, uprooted our life, moved to South Florida into a county that was wide open. It was almost like a bubble during this period of time because those were our values. I will never allow societal values to influence me, because the moment that you do, the moment that you allow societal values to influence your values, and your values know that there's contradiction present, is the moment that you start becoming like lack of self-confidence. It's where your esteem gets broken down. It's where you start questioning things. It's where you start focusing on all the things that you don't have because there's misalignment. So it's critical. Do not allow societal values to influence your values, because the only thing that matters is your values, not the pressure that society is trying to put on you. So the third strategy to start focusing on your strengths is to stop listening to the opinions of people that just don't have what you want. And the majority of the people that are going to express opinions, this has been my experience, they don't have what you want because they actually have the time to express their opinions. And when you start auditing their life, you start breaking down the source of the opinion, you're going to tell yourself, well, I don't want that person's relationship. I don't want that person's bank account. I don't want that person's career. I don't want that person's relationship with their child. I don't want. Yet you're listening to their opinions about the things that you're doing or not doing. Doesn't make any sense. Like, it's really interesting that people in my world that have critiqued me and criticized me and naysayed me over time, when I look at their world, there's nothing, and I mean this, nothing that I want that they currently have. Like nothing, nada. And the people that are there either celebrating me or saying nothing are the ones that actually motivate me because they do have things that I aspire to create and to achieve. So it's so critical that as you're starting to really focus on your strength versus that little blemish, that little nothing, that you only take the opinion from people that already have what you strive to create. So if somebody is criticizing your relationship and then you audit their relationship and it's not the relationship you want, then why would you take their advice? If somebody's criticizing your health decisions, but they don't have the type of health and lifestyle that you're looking for, why do you give such merit to their opinion? If there's someone criticizing your career choice or criticizing the way that you go about making money, yet their bank account is the exact opposite of what you want, and they're a compliant human in a career that isn't bringing any joy or excitement, then why does it even matter what they say? So it's so critical in this third strategy, with the goal of you only focusing on your strength, is to audit where the opinion is coming from. And if the person doesn't have what you aspire, just ignore them. Move on. Let that be your motivator. Let that be your validation that you're onto something. Because the only reason that person's expressing the opinion is to slow you down because you're making them uncomfortable, because you're doing what they wish they could do, and they've never given themselves the permission to actually do. So their opinion is useless, serves no purpose, and what you need to focus on is your strength versus that blemish. And that's the third strategy. So the fourth strategy to ensure that you're only focusing on your strength is to give yourself grace, but never make excuses. So one thing that I have learned, especially as an entrepreneur, and this is held true to everything, love, your health, everything will take more time and more money than you go into it initially expecting. Everything. Because anything that matters is going to just require an oversized level of effort and resources. So it's just going to take more of them. And I just want you to know this. Give yourself grace, but never make excuses. Never make excuses. Like, so for me, I have this Herculean moonshot to acquire, scale, and exit 10,000 SaaS companies over the coming years. And I'm giving myself grace from the perspective of how long it actually takes, but I'm never making excuses. I'm never making excuses. So if something goes astray, something goes wrong, something doesn't work the way that we expect it to, which happens all the time within this giant experiment that we're running, we don't make excuses. We give ourselves grace. We know that we're the first doing something that's never been done before. We dig into the data, we find ways to improve, and we execute with reckless abandon. Give yourself grace, but never make excuses, because the alternative is this, is you don't give yourself grace, which means you're hard on yourself for all the wrong reasons, and then you make excuses as to why you don't have what you want, which sets you in this crazy downward spiral. And instead of focusing on what the value that you bring to the world and focusing on your strength, what you start focusing on is that little blemish that means nothing. It means nothing, yet it's consuming everything. Give yourself grace, but never allow yourself to make excuses. And that's the fourth strategy to begin to focus on your strengths. So the fifth strategy to focus only on your strength is to win or learn daily. Those are the only options. You win or you learn. And I want to make sure this lands for you because it's such a key principle. When you win, that means you're putting points on the board. Whatever that means for you. Your relationships, your health, your career, your finances, you as a parent, whatever domain that you're focused on, you're winning. You're putting points on the board. You go to bed at night, you're like, damn, I freaking killed it today. But if that doesn't happen, the alternative is you learn. There's a lesson that has been gleaned that you can then take and then use to ensure that the next time you take that action that you win. You win or you learn daily, that is it. There's no losses ever again. So when you look at your scoreboard, you have points or you have lessons, and that's it. There are no losses. And that is a commitment that you make. Because if you commit to having losses, then what you're committing to is focusing on the pimple or the blemish or the stumble or the trip, which means absolutely nothing at all in the big picture. It means everything if that becomes your focal point. So the fifth strategy to ensure that you're focusing on your strengths is there's only two things that can happen on a daily basis. You win or you learn. Now let me share the final action, the daily action with you. And the daily action is going to sound so corny and so quirky, and almost no one's going to do it, but guess what? I freaking do it. And if you're like, this dude is confident, I am, because all that I see are my strengths. That's all that I know are my strengths. That is only what I'm focused on at all times. But the action that I take daily that ensures this is every day I'm looking in the mirror and I'm screaming loud, and Lindsay and the kids do this with me as well. I'm the freaking GOAT. And the GOAT is the greatest of all time. And I don't say this with arrogance. I say this to reinforce for myself how extraordinary I know I am. And the same holds true for you. You're the freaking GOAT as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as a human with your health. You're the greatest of all time. Reinforce that so you never forget it. And when you're deploying these 5 strategies and taking this daily action, you know what's going to happen? You're going to start to believe it, and that's going to start to also come true. Versus the alternative, which is what almost everybody else does, is they focus on their little trip, or their little pimple, or their little stumble, or their little blemish, or that little event that happened that didn't lead to the outcome they were looking for. And that little nothing, that inconsequential thing becomes everything. And what they forget is that they're the freaking GOAT. Don't be that person. So scream into the mirror daily, I am the freaking GOAT. So you too can begin to focus only on your strengths.